Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the Routledge History of Literature in English, Part 59. So let's dive in the world of literature. Today we'll be covering T.S. Eliot, and the portion starts with a line from the last section of The Wasteland, What the Thunder Said, and the line is, "These fragments I have showed against my ruins." Eliot's major poem, The Wasteland, published in 1922, is not a land literally said waste by war, a real wasteland which poets such as Owen and Rosenberg had graphically described. Two lines are given from the poem The Wasteland from the section The Burial of the Dead, and the lines are, "A crowd flowed over London Bridge. So many I had not thought death had undone so many." Eliot made great use of vers libre, free verse, in his poetry. This style had come to prominence in the later decades of the previous century in Europe and America. The American Walt Whitman used a robust form of free verse widely in his poetry. In an essay on the metaphysical poets in 1921, which reveals the influence on him of 17th century poetry, Eliot wrote about complex modern poetry for complex modern times. Few lines are given from the poem The Wasteland from the section What the Thunder Said, and the lines are, "What is the city over the mountains? Cracks and reforms, and bursts into the violent air. Falling towers, Jerusalem, Athens, Alexandria, Vienna, London, unreal." The three principal qualities which characterize Eliot's work have been neatly summarized as, first, his particular sense of the age in which he lived; second, his conviction that poetry, although using the poet's emotions as its starting point, becomes impersonalized by the tradition in which the poet works; and third, his use of quotations from and allusions to other poets' work for reference, parody, irony, and a sense of continuing intertextual communication and community. "Immature poets borrow. Mature poets steal," he wrote. "Bad poets deface what they take, and good poets make it into something better, or at least something different." In his essay, The Use of Poetry and the Use of Criticism in 1933, he sees this as the feeling for syllable and rhythm, penetrating far below the conscious levels of thought and feeling, returning to the origin and bringing something back, seeking the beginning and the end. The Wasteland contains endnotes which Eliot, perhaps not without some irony, supplies himself, and which explain some of the more cryptic references. For example, in the lines, "Son of man, you cannot say or guess, for you know only a heap of broken images," from the section The Burial of the Dead from The Wasteland. The allusion to Son of Man is taken from the Bible, the book of Ezekiel, and refers to God, who addresses Ezekiel direct. The poem The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, published in Ezra Pound's Poetry magazine in 1915, Eliot first demonstrates an almost total break with the conventions of romantic poetry. Few lines are given from the poem The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, and the lines are, "Let us go, then you and I, when the evening is spread out against the sky. In the room, the women come and go, talking of Michelangelo." Poems like Mariana explores aspects of religious revelation, and his major poetic sequence, Four Quatrains, with its many allusions to the Bible, to mystical religious literature, and to Dante, presents a sustained exploration of the relations between moments in human time and moments of spiritual eternity. Mariana, for example, presents a sequence of images which are difficult to connect and require some knowledge on the part of the reader of Shakespeare's late play, Pericles, in which Pericles' daughter, Mariana, is lost as a young child and then found by her father again as a young woman. And few lines are given from the poem Mariana, and the lines are, What seas, what shores, what granite islands towards my timbers, and wood thrush calling through the fog, my daughter. The following much quoted lines from W.B. Yeats' poem The Second Coming, and the lines are, and what rough beast, its hour came around at last, slouches towards Bethlehem to be born. Eliot consulted Ezra Pound over the writing of The Waste Land and dedicated it to him as Il Miglior Fabbro, or the greatest poet. Pound advised Eliot on the arrangement and editing of the fragments which make up the text. Pound's own career after the publication of U. Selwyn Moberly in 1920 was spent largely in Italy and was devoted to the writing of the cantos, the first three of which had been published in 1917 in the magazine Poetry. Although daunting to the reader, they are a major contribution to modern writing and possibly the poetic text that was longest in its writing, the last cantos being published in 1970. If you have any doubts or query, you can ask me in the comment section below, or you can even message me in the social media IDs that are given below in the description box. And do share the video to all those who wants to be the part of this literary journey. So that's all for today's video. Thank you and signing out.